Morning and welcome to the WellMed Charitable Foundation for Teleconnection Series. Today we have Words Matter with Cynthia. Hazel.
I can barely hear you. You're breaking up.
Okay, I'm having problems again. Can you hear me now? Okay, you keep me posted, will you, Cynthia? Cynthia, can you hear me?
Barely. You're a little quiet and you keep breaking up a bit. I know that's frustrating.
It's frustrating. I have so many problems, same kind of problems with it, over and over. And a new microphone doesn't seem to be helping. Is that any better?
A little bit.
Okay. Well, you're the one who's going to be talking, so I'm going to turn it over to you. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and start your presentation.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. And we're going to explore how encouraging words make a difference. We all know what it feels like to be discouraged, but actually, as human beings, did you know we're hardwired for encouragement? Like our body's bloodstreams, encouragement is vital to its proper functioning. Encouraging others helps us to find and celebrate that part of ourselves that's greater than any obstacle. And it reminds us that we're always enough for what life hands us. And sometimes life hands us a great deal, so it's good to have encouragement as a tool in our bag for coping. In this class, we're going to look at how words have the power to encourage and discourage. And while praise can make us feel good in the moment, it doesn't help us develop the necessary skills to survive and thrive in difficult circumstances. That's why we need someone to speak encouraging words of hope and confidence to us. Encouragers' goals are to help others be all that they can be. And we will see throughout the class how these same words have a wonderful pay it forward opportunity. Now, mostly I'm going to be speaking to you today, but I do have a couple of exercises that I hope you'll enjoy participating. Next slide. So I wanted to share my mission with you before we get started. I stepped onto the healing path after surviving 2 major automobile accidents and living with a great deal of pain. Recovering from the after effects gave me the knowledge and the motivation to inspire others. I have a mission, and it involves giving you the skills to recognize your value, expand your knowledge, broaden perspectives, and live mindfully with gratitude and love. I offer trainings that focus on the softer skills like gratitude, loving yourself, mindfulness, breathing consciously, and then the new one that we're doing today called Encouraging Matters. You're always the focus of my personalized one-on-one transformational sessions, and they're designed to help you heal and those hurting parts of you that prevent you from making breakthroughs. I found that the work is powerful and effective. I'll be available at the end of the presentation if you have any questions at all about my background. So why don't we get started? Next slide, please. The power of encouragement is an important topic, and it's one that people have looked at through the years. Here's what a few people had to say. Henry David Thoreau says that when we're encouraged, we go confidently in the direction of our dreams, and we live the life we imagine. Roy Bennett is an author of a book called The Light of the Heart, and he says, when you encourage others, you boost their self-esteem, enhance their self-confidence, lift their spirits, and help them to be successful. Encouragement goes straight to the heart, and it's always available. Writer William Arthur Ward says, "Flatter me and I may not believe you. Criticize me and I may not like you. Ignore me and I may not forgive you, but encourage me and I will not forget you." And finally, Pastor Charles Schwindel finds that encouragement is awesome because it has the capacity to lift people up, to give them an opportunity to change the course of their day, their week, or their life. So there must be something to this practice. Let's see what we can find out. Next slide, please. All right, you can see encouragement has a lot of ways that it can show up in the world. So I thought it was good to look at that because we want to see exactly what are we focusing on. And the dictionary tells us that encouragement is an expression of support or approval. And it also serves as a way to inspire with courage, spirit, and hope. You know, we all battle moments of self-doubt, insecurity, discouragement, especially as caregivers because we had so many demands. Moments when we feel like giving up. But that's when we need a little encouragement to cheer us up, to help us to keep going. I want you to think back when you were a young parent or a teacher, you had a lot of children that you were influencing. And can you remember those times when you just wanted to say, just do this because I said so? But how well did that work? Not too well usually, because we want to be encouraged, not disciplined. And encouragement lasts so much longer than praise because we're helping people feel good about what they've accomplished using their abilities without needing anybody's approval. So those words tend to stay in our minds and our hearts and really help to build us up. Although life is full of challenges, words of encouragement have the power to lift our spirits. An encouraging word can help us make it through a difficult situation in spite of obstacles. Whether we're looking for personal motivation, comforting a friend, or just reflecting on life, words of encouragement offer a new perspective. Put more simply, they just make us feel better. So because encouragement is critical to self-development, it's best that we practice this daily. And we have to get used to it. If we're not used to it, it takes a little while to understand the value and see the value. And it has the chance to turn average relationships into really great ones. So I want you to think about it, and you're more than welcome to share. Do you remember a time when you were encouraged? How did that make you feel? Anyone want to put something in the chat or unmute and share something? I'd love to hear from you because that tends to stay in our mind and our heart and can build us up, especially if we have a teacher when we're younger and they're looking at our talents and they're telling us about something that we could do. It feels really good.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Thank you, Minerva. She's my go-to person. I'd like to share something that happened to my daughter when she was in high school, and it was all about encouragement. I think, she was kind of having fun with the boys, and she was in classes with really smart kids, but she wasn't one of the really, really smart kids. But the woman who ran the academic decathlon grabbed her and said, "You're practical. We need a practical brain on this academic decathlon." And she wound up going to Berkeley.
Wow. And she's never forgotten it, right?
Never. She still talks about it.
Yeah, that's what it does. It gets straight to the heart and it just makes us feel so good because somebody recognized us for a moment and saw our value. And we have a tendency to maybe not pay attention, or we might be so self-critical that we don't give ourselves the opportunity to hear. And somebody from the outside really can do that. And it just makes all the difference.
Those,
Let's see, do we have anything in the chat? Let me see.
let's see. It makes you feel empowered to be the best you can be. That's from Diane.
Thank you, Diane. You're absolutely right. You know, it does empower us. And let's see what else we can discover with encouragement. Next slide, please. Let's look at the benefits of encouragement. You know, we're fertilizing like a flower because we're building this beautiful confidence. Okay, constantly, but we can look at the other side too. Constantly correcting somebody, it gives them the idea that they're never good enough. And sometimes that comes from relationships or from situations, or someone that criticizes us. Maybe they had a bad experience or a bad day, and then they tend to take it out on us. But what we don't realize is if we discourage someone long enough, they're going to completely stop trying. And that's just a shame. Instead, when we encourage people, we help them see all that they could be. And I thought about this last night, and I thought what we're doing actually is changing somebody's focus. Now we're moving in a new direction. And all it takes is one person to really make a difference. And as we go through this, we're going to see how we can become one of these people to encourage others too. Why do we want to do that? Because we're helping people build their confidence. And as we just saw with Evelyn's daughter's example, encouraging words stay inside of us and they radiate from us. Why is that so? Because encouragement is a core aspect of human connectedness. And what affects us affects others. Do you remember the picture that used to go around for a while that the husband has had a bad day and he comes home and he says something gruff to his wife? She turns around and she disciplines the kids a little harder, and the little kids are rough with the puppy. I mean, it just descends down and tends to shower all over. So we're going to change the shower and we're going to have it move in a new direction. All right. Words of encouragement can also calm us and stop us from doing that extra analyzing, because that extra analyzing can really be discouraging. Now, if we're encouraged enough, we're going to look at our life in a new way, and we're going to move with a different perspective. It can feed into our confidence. It can really help us. But if we look at the bigger picture of encouragement on a broad aspect, it just makes the world a better place by meeting people's needs. It provides food for the hungry and water for those who are parched by the hardness of life. It leaves us complete, and it gives us the motivation to share with others. So now we've turned away from the negative situation where it just showers all this negativity to positive. If somebody is really good to us, then we're going to feed that down the way, and we're paying it forward. We're sharing it with someone else, which makes it really great. Next slide, please. Well, what are the qualities of a person who encourages? They have a genuine heart for people, because they demonstrate a very real and loving concern. And they're empathetic because they're actively listening so that they can understand what's going on with you, your situation, what they see in your ups and downs. And when they can talk and give you an encouraging word, you know, they've probably been around you more than just one time, so they know your highs and lows. And they know just when to come in and share something that keeps you going for a little while longer. And they see your potential. Encouragers look at you as a storehouse for untapped abilities. And they want to get right in there and do that because that will help you blossom. We're also given a consistent feeling of hope by them because encouragers are problem solvers. They're not going to wait for you to say, well, I do this really well, or I do that really well, because, we don't usually do that. But they will walk through the process and guide us away from failure and help us keep an eye on the prize. So, Evelyn, in your daughter's situation, the teacher needed the practical skills she had to help the whole situation, the whole conference be better. So she saw that bigger picture and she knew, not only am I going to benefit, but your daughter's going to benefit too. So that was the broader aspects of encouragement. And encouragers also give positive, inspiring examples. Encouragers maintain the same attitude with everybody. So they're not looking at someone and saying, I can encourage you, I'm going to ignore you, I don't have time for you. No, they do that consistently with everybody. They see our potential and they share our good traits and cheer us on. Finally, the most important thing is they inspire a servant's heart because they put others' needs before their own. But we tend to remember our encouragers because they are truly helping us make it through the day. Let's look at the next slide. So what we've discovered so far and all that I've talked about and shared with you, and you've shared, that encouragement works. So it's a good program. It's not a program that we're getting a financial reward from, but we're getting rewards in so many other ways. And the good news is anybody can be an encourager. We just need to pay attention and share with other people and let them know how we see they are making a difference. So what does it take to be an encourager? You want to give support. This means to be there for people in good times and bad times. You also want to give them a sense of confidence because they may not feel that they are making a difference, but you see that they are, and you see the potential of them doing so much more in other situations. So giving them that confidence helps them feel that they're trustworthy and that they can afford to have a better opinion of themselves and to develop their own abilities in a new way. Maybe they have a dream, and maybe they're inspired and they have an area that they want to develop, but they're not quite confident. And then when an encourager comes along and shares all these wonderful things they see in that person, that fuels them getting so excited that they go forward with that project. That may push them into a new career field. I mean, we just don't know, but it's a wonderful thing to do. Why? Because we're feeding hope to people. We're supporting the belief for the person that we encourage that they can expect a different outcome or a better outcome. It also empowers people. Now their validations are changed, their perceptions are changed, their efforts are different, because they're looking at themselves in a different way. And finally, we may not associate encouragement with conquering fear with love, but that's exactly what happens, because if you look at the word encourage and break it down, courage is in there. So the encourager steps forward, shares something with someone, not knowing how they're going to receive it. That takes courage to be able to do that. But it also feeds courage into the person that will step forward and maybe go a little bit further and achieve dreams that they never thought that they could. Boy, this is getting to be a win-win and really exciting situation. So, how do you feel so far?
Anybody with comments for Cynthia? You can put your hand up, go to the chat room. You can unmute your phone if you're on phone call. We'd love to hear from you. Everybody's, if they're like me, they're just really enjoying all this positive talk. Positive.
Well,
Last
good,
week,
because I have an exercise I'd like everybody to participate in.
cool.
All right. Now we're going to do an experiment. So I want you to sit up straight and relax and cross your legs and close your eyes. And I'm going to repeat some phrases. So I just want you to listen and take those words in that I share. Okay. You can't do anything right. You're so stupid. You refuse to listen to me. Why do I even try? So just breathe that in. New set of words. I admire how strong you are. I like the way you handle this situation. Good job. I believe in you. You know, I've noticed that you have a great attitude. And what I like about you is you never give up. So I can count on you. Take a deep breath and open your eyes. Now you may want to chat because did you notice any difference? Did you notice difference in the words? How did that make you feel? Anybody got any comments?
Feel more open when you started saying positive, but when you were negative, I was like closed in. But I felt my body literally open up when you spoke positive words. Do that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely makes sense. Yeah. Yes. Diane says, hurt at first, but redeemed and feeling better. And you know, that's what happens with someone talking to us, especially someone that we know we don't mean to, but we give them so much power over our lives. So it's so much better to hear those positive words. And it's not that they're making it up, and it's not that they're praising people. It's that they're absolutely noticing the things that we're doing, and they let us know. Let me see what else. Do we have anybody else in the chat?
Any more chats? Anybody want to talk? Hazel, my dad, Cynthia, sorry. You have to have two first names. My dad always used to say, if you want to have a friend, love the things you love about him and pretend like you don't see the others.
Absolutely. And I liked the comment that you made, Dorsey, because we were talking about human connectedness. And connection can come in terms of a pat on the back, somebody that says a positive word, because we're social species again, and this can affect us. Encouragement can affect us to the point that our immune system is stronger. We have better physical well-being, and we actually live 50% longer when we're in a positive and encouraging situation. You know, words can isolate us and drive us apart, but I was glad that we had participation. And let's go to the next slide. And you'll see how it feels. It feels good to be able to be encouraged. Destructive words tear us apart, isolate us, hurt us. And as we talked about, drill down to where, you know, you have maybe go out of your way to either make somebody feel good or discourage them like you were. And you can create and see the look on their faces and see how these bonds are drawing them closer. And it can make your whole day. So Let's see if we have other comments here. The first set of words were like an attack. Yes, they are like an attack. And, as a situation, especially as a caregiver, when you're working as hard as you can and you're doing as much as you can to do it right. And maybe as caregivers, I used to feel the same way, that I don't exactly know everything I'm doing and I'm doing the best that I can. And if somebody come along and criticize me, it is already fighting into my feelings of, wow, I could have done a better job. So it's a lot better to be encouraged, to feel lighthearted, like Lori said, and willing to persevere. Great. Thank you for participating. All right, let's go to the next slide. So we're beginning to see the difference that it makes for people to be encouraged. I don't know if you remember Stephen Covey, but he wrote a book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He said, next to physical survival, the greatest need of a human being is to be understood, to be affirmed, validated, and appreciated. And I'm going to add in the word encouraged, but encouraging ranks right up there with all these other attributes, because I used to call it recognition, but encouragement is recognition. So we're going to do another exercise, and this is called, as you see, an encouraging word shower. And so what I'm going to ask you to do again is to sit up nice and straight, close your eyes. And I'm going to share a variety of words, and we'll just see how it goes. Ready? Deep breath. You're so beautiful. When I need someone to be there for me, you always are. You do the right thing. I didn't know what to do, but you came along and you had just the right solution, and I feel more relaxed. You care for other people, and it's obvious in the way that you act. You are loving. You're kind, you're friendly, you're giving yourself to others, and it shows in what you do. You have so many things that you have to do, and I'm amazed that you balance them so well and provide. I know that I can rely on you, and the one that you care for can rely on you too, because I see their happiness. I see the shine in their eyes. Thank you for doing what you do. You make good decisions. You pay attention. You provide good care. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, now sit up straight. Deep breath. And open your eyes. Now I'd like to take the phones off and hear from people. And how did that feel? How did you take it in? Or did you take it in? Did you find that you were fighting those words, or did you have anything that helped you look at yourself differently?
If you're on your phone, please press *6. Otherwise, you just unmute yourself if you're on Zoom, or go to the chat room. I just want to, since there's nothing yet, I want to say, Cynthia, that I have noticed since COVID, when it was so difficult to find people to do work, that waitresses and the guys cleaning the park and sweeping the street, that people stop and thank them, which I think is beautiful.
It's absolutely, it is, and it makes a huge difference.
Anybody else? How did you feel about those words?
You know, while you're thinking of something you want to say, and I'll get to you, Minerva, in just a minute, those words become sensory. And they're not just around us, but they soak into us. And so that's that connected side of, as encouragers, we're showing people their talents and helping them to see how they make contributions. With people that discourage, they may be blocking us from using those burgeoning talents that we wanted to develop, but now somebody's come along and said, no, we can't do that. So let's see what we've got in the chat. Minerva says, I will admit it's hard to accept the words you were saying with the little voice in the back of my head was talking loudly. And you know what, Minerva? It was a good start, wasn't it? Make space for that, because yeah, people definitely want to be around people who encourage us. So thank you so much for sharing. Well, I hope that you'll think about that, and I'm going to have some suggestions that I make to you as we go along. So let's go to the next slide. And here's Albert Einstein. I love this fella. I'll tell you what. You know, one of Einstein's core values was to serve and help others. And he did this with gratitude and encouragement. Albert would spend his days walking around thanking people for how they contributed. And he must have thanked hundreds of people throughout his day, because he knew he had the responsibility to help others with his time and talents. He strove to make a difference. And to Albert, a person's value was not based on their level of success. So the words that he shared were genuine, encouraging words, and he gave them to anybody and everybody so that they knew exactly how he felt. So I put him up as our poster boy for encouraging words matter, because he set that example a long time ago. And, you know, we've talked a lot about encouragement today. You played along with me in some exercises, which I hope you enjoyed. And I want to share some final thoughts. Support and encouragement from others gives us the strength to move on, because when we do hear from other people that we are making a difference, we can be bolder and braver and perhaps find someone that we can encourage, that we can say, I see this good thing that you're doing, and I wanted to let you know this is what I believe you can do. Also, words of encouragement give us hope, because we may be feeling down, being really down on ourselves. We have a different perspective than someone that's looking from the outside, and they have an opportunity to give us a new perspective. Also, encouraging someone to take the right path is going to make a deeper impact with the world, because if we encourage someone about a skill and they turn around and use that skill with someone that needed that at that exact moment, yes, the world is benefiting. This is not just about one or two people. It becomes a much bigger situation. So remember, to be kind is also a worthwhile skill to develop. And here's something I think is very important. The person that we need to encourage the most is usually ourselves, especially as caregivers. When you're being busy and you're doing the best that you can and you're moving at a very fast pace, it feels good to give yourself a break and say, you know what? I'm doing the best that I can, and I'm doing a good job. All right, next slide. So I want you to stay the course. Darlene Sala, encouraging words, said, but we're often so needy, we forget to look at how we can bless someone else. So as we learn, what affects us affects others. And when we elevate someone, we positively affect everybody in their circle. So it goes down the line as a positive thing. Then I encourage you, you encourage someone else, they encourage, and that's that pay it forward movement. You know, Pastor Jim George advises, with every encounter, make it your aim that people are better off for having been in your presence. Remember to always give something to the other person. And Laurie Lennon made a very practical statement. Deciding to become an encourager means taking our minds off of ourselves and focusing on others. And this helps us give perspective to ourselves about our situation. So I'm going to give you a goal to work for. I want you to decide to encourage at least one person a week. And then you can learn and grow from the experience until it becomes a habit, because everybody will benefit. So let's see what we have in the chat.
This chat is very interesting, Cynthia, because I think I was thinking maybe this is what Minerva was thinking, because we all have that little voice of doubt in the back of our heads. And Becca says, sometimes it helps me to question that little voice who is negative, wondering if it really is my voice or where it came from. Often it isn't me at all.
That's true.
How do we conquer that?
I would say to not give power to it, to recognize it and look at it and stop. This is not what I'm about. I'm going to center, I'm going to believe. If you have faith, you're going to go to God and center yourself and just let it scatter and not take it in. Address it,
Our thoughts.
let it go. Pardon?
Yeah. Manage our thoughts.
Yep.
Neuroscience is coming out talking about how, we can wake up in a really negative mood from a bad dream or something. But if we think about that, we can turn that around and manage the chemicals that go into our brain by smiling, by laughing, by doing something positive, by saying something nice to someone else, maybe calling somebody and tell them how much you miss them or, you love them or whatever. So but it's not easy. I think we have to really think about it.
It's a habit, and that's why I'm suggesting take it as a goal, and to say, if you want to do this, move slowly. Because if we push ourselves, it's like a New Year's resolution. We push ourselves really hard, and then pretty soon we forget. But if we just move slowly, then we have a better chance of making it a habit. And I like what you were talking about, because people that study the brain are talking about when we are speaking those new words, we're actually making new synapses in the brain that are connecting and rewiring our brain to move in a different way.
We have a message from Ann Mills. I keep ignoring the little negative voice and ask God every day to send me people that I can help. I focus on encouraging everyone and work at a senior center. Ooh, how nice.
Absolutely. Boy, that is a great service. Thank you so much for sharing.
And thank you for what you do. Yes.
Encouragement is so vital to who we are as human beings.
Any more comments or questions? I want you all to know that Cynthia has another very positive session that she's going to be doing next month that's called Combating Compassion Fatigue. And I think it kind of goes along with this in the sense that, when caregivers go to bed at night, they say to themselves, I didn't get to the pharmacy, I didn't get that done, I didn't get the laundry done. And it's all that negative stuff, and that's because they're not feeling all the good that they're giving every day. They're not looking at that encouraging themselves. So
Mhm.
that'll be a really good.
Well, thank you so much. And I just have one more slide. So I'm going to close it up with you knowing about me, and I want to thank you for participating in this class. And I hope that this will give you the fuel or excitement to choose to build up an encouraging habit, because everybody's going to benefit from it. And you'll find that you have a happier focus, and life will be much more simple. If you have any questions about me, you can reach me at my website, which is heartsonghealingplace.com. And you can also find me on Facebook. I have a couple of group pages called Grateful Hearts, where I write about what I'm grateful for. And then I have Hearts on Healing Wellness Tips, where I give all sorts of tips about a variety of ways to stay well. I'm also on LinkedIn. So in closing, I wish you well as you find a way to encourage others, and don't forget about yourselves every day. And I want to thank you for participating rather.
Well, you did a wonderful job as always, Cynthia. Thank you so much. I look forward to, your session next month. I think I get to be on that with you. For those of you who are on the line, I want you to know that if you didn't write down her Heart Song Healing Place website, that you'll be getting that as a resource along with the Elder Care Locator with your post-session questionnaire. And of course, as many of you've heard before, if you got this number from someone else or the Zoom link, you won't get that questionnaire and you won't get the resources. So please, call our WellMed Charitable Foundation customer service person, Minerva the Wonderful, at 866-390-6491. That's 866-390-6491, and get registered. And why I'm going to tell you about why you want to do that. We have two pages of sessions next month. They're just going to be spectacular. We're going to talk about the dementia journey, and that's with Pam Cummings. We're going to have a Spanish session on caring for an older adult with behavior problems. We're going to talk about addiction with Dear Lucy, normal versus not normal aging, which should be very interesting, because we all think that we're normal until we're not. Behavioral disturbances and dementia with Dr. Pradario, suicide and aging. That'll be the first time we've had that for a while. Combating compassion fatigue. That's March 21st with our friend Cynthia Hazel. We also have how to eliminate toxic people from your life with Dr. Jamie Heisman, and understanding grief and loss with Esther Pippoli. Now we have a special session also on Wednesdays next month, starting tomorrow. And this is with Dr. Elliot Montgomery Sklar and our dear Lucy Barilak, who's a social worker, a master's degree social worker. And they're going to be talking about emotions. So this is an all new presentation. And I think it'll get down to some nitty gritty. They're really going to let people talk about your individual emotions after every session. And there's 4 sessions during March. One is on fear, one is on anger, one is on uncertainty, and the last one is on processing sadness. So these will be extremely interesting conversations, and they're going to last 90 minutes instead of the usual 60 minutes, because they felt like that if we were going to talk emotions, people needed to just be able to talk and not have a time limit where we kept cutting them off because we were, getting to the limit. So we look forward to hearing from you folks next month, maybe tomorrow. And at this point, I am going to say goodbye to you all. Thank you all so much for what you do. It's a little before the hour, but we never keep people past when we have the presentation or something to say. If anybody else has a message, a chat, anything they want to do, now would be a good time if you've thought of something. If not, that's fine. Okay, I don't see any, so I am going to stop the recording. Thank the WellMed Charitable Foundation for what they do for caregivers and seniors in our country. And thank you all so much for being here today. Bye-bye.
Bye.